Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. We are back. Adam, how's it going today?
Was it last show or the one before that I scratched my eye? I've done it again, and it sucks, and I want my money back. I think my warranty is expired.
You need like a replacement cash on those safety goggles you wear all day. Because how do you scratch your eyes when you wear glasses all day?
I wasn't wearing it. It's always first thing in the morning. Usually sleep with my contacts in because I don't like sticking my fingers in my eye. So we could probably trace this problem back to it's mostly my fault to begin with, but it doesn't make it any less annoying.
We appreciate everybody being back with us. I hope your eyes feeling better, Adam. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us. You know, let's talk about where we go, Adam. We kind of left things hanging last show we did. You know, I've been unhappy with our relationship, but just like in any marriage, you know, we're going to stay together for the kids. We talked about all kinds of things today. So before we get into Chaz, and Chaz had a couple doozies of shows on the weekend, so bring him on to talk a bit about the sprint car scene on the national side of things in a few minutes. But, you know, where do we go? So I first want to say, you know, you and I don't have issues other than this 1 hour, I feel. And, you know, we had a great time at Motorama. We talk all the time. When we're not talking about this 1 hour, we get along great. And I don't want anybody to think, like even Spencer, I told him today, because I messaged him, like, show tonight? He's like, what the hell? And then show the meme you just showed Spencer. And he's like, we were on a break. I thought you guys were breaking up. What the hell? And I said, I don't know. And then you and I talked today. And I said, I'd talk to you. And, you know, you had a good point. Do we do it every 2 weeks? We don't really build a great audience that way. It's not a way to continue building what we're doing. We talked about trying to get things a bit fresh. And then here we are 2 weeks later, kind of where we were. But I think we both agree we get so much feedback from this. And as I was explaining it, you know, we're trying to help make this sport 52 weeks a year up here instead of 20. And this is our show cams. These are the kind of things that help do that in the off season when it's snowing. So I don't know, man. I feel like we need to get back to one Christmas. That's what Spencer wanted it to be as the tagline to the show tonight. But I said, whoa. We're just, mom and dad are just going on a date again. We're not moving back in fully yet. But I'm sure we're going to be there. But yeah, I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on the whole situation?
Well, similar to yours, our relationship is great. It's our dynamic that's a little bit troubled right now. We seem to push each other's, well, I push your buttons on this show. On a regular basis, not so much, right? So we need to do a better job. What we want to start doing is a little bit better promotion and a little bit better organizing. So people might know ahead of time who the main guest is going to be. So we can do some promoting and get some buzz going out there. Because nobody needs to hear you and I yap for an hour every week or an hour and a half or whatever it turns into. I've got to be mindful to not make fun of, not bring you down, even though there's things I don't want to be very filtered on. So we're gonna make that work, and I think we want to put forth a better product than what we have been. The pieces are all here. We've got all the things we need. We're gonna start using YouTube a little bit better and trying to draw a broader audience. We're not going to get in the realm of clickbait like our friend the Chaz, but he's good at it and he delivers, right? So I said that in hopes that his audio's on and he can hear us because he's just shown up. But the one thing Chaz does that's amazing is he puts out clickbait 100%, but then he delivers, right? You click on it, and it's like, oh shit, okay, this has some meat on the bone. And gets to the bottom of it. I don't think we could pull it off quite as well as he could, but we're going to try some things, and we're going to keep on carrying on, and maybe we're going to bring in some different personalities here and there to complement what you bring to the table and what I bring to the table, and just try to make it a little better.
Yeah, I think sometimes, you know, first off, I just think we go to each other's throats, and I equate it to a rule we had for many years at Osh Weekend back from when you and I were running the place together in the infancy. when we were, announcing and race directing at the same time. And that is, take me out back and call me whatever you want, but don't try and embarrass me in public. And that's kind of where we were here. I think we got off the rails a little bit here, and we shouldn't be out belittling each other because we really don't feel that way. And hey, behind closed doors, we throw the worst barbs at anybody. Like, man, if people saw our Facebook back and forth, we'd be canceled. 2 days.
We'd cancel ourselves.
Yeah, but I also think, we built some magic here, and this isn't a toot. This is a show to the people that hang out with us because, we don't do anything to promote this show. We don't put any real effort into it, and we shouldn't be saying that to the people who are hanging out here. But we've got this far by just fucking around. We show up on Tuesday, figure out who'd we talk to recently. You mentioned Chaz's show. I was captivated by what was going on Saturday from the whole thing, and he had me stuck in for 2 hours there Saturday. I thought he had Cody Jacobs on. That's why we brought him on to talk about a bit about that. And who's, if you don't know, David Gravel's crew chief and one of the best on dirt right now. So there's just some wild talk. But back to us. Yeah, I think we need to figure this out. We need to keep it going somehow, some way. We need to figure out how to get along because we do have a fantastic summer with a ton of work. We're going to be on the air broadcasting races so much this summer, more than we've probably done since 2020, if not ever. So excited to be doing that, and let's not bring this down. So let's just jump into Chaz. Let's bring him on. He's here. I didn't want him on until 8:15, but we'll bring him on. Chaz, welcome to the program. Chaz asked what we're going to talk about, so he'd be prepared. And here's the topics I told Chaz that I wanted to talk about tonight. Like to summarize Cody's call. Cody Jacobs called in. You kind of challenged Cody, and you first I want to get back to that in a second, and then your opinion on why Tanner Thorson. So if people weren't watching, he's the high limit point leader. Their race got canceled that night. They were within driving range of the Outlaws, went to the Outlaw race, qualified, I believe 12th or something, then pulled out, and that sparked a whole bunch of bullshit. Probably by Chaz's fuse being lit, but either way, it was entertaining on the night. And we all had that question, though. So, Chaz, first off, I want to start by saying welcome to the show. Adam and I are both jealous because we kind of straddle both lines here. We are paid to be company men with 2 to 3 different series throughout the year. So we can't really say what we really effing want to say. And I'm so jealous that you get to just let it fly on your own deal on Saturdays. And I know that brings a cost to you. And the other thing, as I talk about that, you mentioned on Saturday's show, Spencer, show the screenshot I showed of the Chaz's show. So if you're looking for it, go to Long Live the Chaz on YouTube. Look for this screenshot. You'll find him and Cody Jacobs. Chaz, you talked about Tony Stewart pulling you in, too, to give you shit. There's all kind of stuff. So welcome to the show, man. How are you doing? And, Saturday was wild.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty decent. We had some internet issues, which hopefully we're not having any of those tonight. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. I mean, we had Cody on, we had some drinks on. It was our first night back here in the studio. We've been on the road since January in Florida and Arizona, and waving the green flag at FS1 at High Limit and Vado. So, yeah, it was pretty interesting. But yeah, I mean, Cody coming on, that was spur of the moment, kind of. I told David or him, if you win the 81 race with Tanner there, you need to have like apples ready so he could buy them, because he had already made the apple joke video. Because Rico had said an apple a day keeps the outlaws away. So when the high limit points leader's there, you'd think, you'd have some apples ready. But yeah, it was good, and yeah, we had some stories from on the road in these last 2-3 months of what had been transpiring, and yeah, Cody coming on. I mean, I kind of wanted Cody's side to get out there a little bit because he's very he's you say you're jealous of me. I mean, how jealous are you of that guy who's in the corporate shield, holding the corporate banner for the #1 sprint car team in the world, and he could just get on there and say all he was saying. So that's pretty free, I would say. But yeah, it was entertaining. It was fun. It was my first technical live show of the year because I've been on the road so much. So I guess coming back with a bang. I've had so many people message me and say thank you for having Cody on the show. I know it ain't perfect, blah blah blah, but it's so entertaining when you and people have your show on and people just come on and say what they think. It's a breath of fresh air. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's also the issue, in other sports and stuff. There's so many people who kind of do what I do, and our sport for some reason, I think because it's so small, you have to rely on corporate funding to succeed or exist. And I think that's probably the bigger issue of all. And because of that, people are reserved and not really saying or discussing the sport in an entertainment fashion. So that's what I would say. But regardless, yeah, it's been interesting.
No doubt. What now? First for me, Chaz, how much weight have you lost?
We've been up and down a little bit. Probably it's fluctuated out to like 10 or 15, 20 pounds. But I mean, when you're on the road, at truck stop foods and drive-throughs and stuff, it's hard. I
Yep.
remember I got into a string of just eating oranges because it was like the only thing that was, could last in the hot car. I have no AC in my car, and being in Arizona was definitely a challenge. But yeah, I mean, not much, not where I would like. I mean, overall, I was 400 pounds in a younger age, and I lost, went down to 180 and put weight back on. So I guess overall I'm down, but not where I would want to be. But losing weight hasn't been the priority here recently. It's been going and doing and making and focusing.
So, well, you look good. From where I'm sitting, you look good. Maybe it's camera angles, shadows. I don't know, man.
Probably
but
the
keep
angle.
it
Yeah,
up.
it's everything's angles.
The story that intrigues me was Tanner Thorson. Was it a corporate decision, a personal decision, a team decision, or is it none of our business? And first off, explain what he did.
I mean, we can. Well, I mean, he the high limit race rained out at Dodge City, and he went to 81, which was a World Outlaw race, hour and a half from Dodge City. Which probably that was a big mistake to even have a national, two touring national series that close together, anyways. But he goes over to 81, and everybody is hyped up to see this happen. There's been a lot of talk leading up this whole last week. I mean, you had Dirt Tracker, probably the number one media entity in dirt track racing right now, especially on YouTube. He had to make two separate videos because he made one video where he talked about how David Gravel was really good and number one sprint car team. And I guess so many people trashed David Gravel in the comment section about how that wasn't true and how if he was on high limit series, he would get in his butt handled. Dirt Tracker actually had to make a second video and went through the whole entire stats on how statistically David Gravel is the best. And he still got the comments were still littered with high limit people basically trashing David Gravel and the World Outlaws for being a soft series. And that's why Gravel's able to perform like he does. So, and we had this discussion with Jeremy Elliott 2 nights ago, which this is kind of my explanation for it, is he gets there. He's the guy now. So you have everybody from the Outlaws who have been watching people trash the Outlaws and Gravel. You have your high limit guy come in, and I would assume high limit fans are like, okay, here we go. We're going to show him. And he qualifies 12th and leaves after qualifying. Didn't even make the heat race, scratch from the heat race. Originally, he made a post on Facebook that it was due to high winds. Later, he made a post saying it was because, he didn't qualify well, didn't have much of a chance to win, and didn't want to put laps on his equipment. Of course, social media, which somehow I get blamed for everything that isn't right, social media and all the commenters from the Outlaws fans who had watched David Gravel and the Outlaws technically get trashed about how great high limit is. And once again, Dirt Trucker had to make 2 videos to defend this notion, how good the Outlaws and Gravel are. They go crazy in the comments and just, trash, point fun, make fun of Tanner Thorson leaving, saying, look, here's our example of grand superiority over high limit. Your champion comes in and leaves after qualifying. He quit, So that's what happened there. And the result of that is, you have a lot of banter. Is it deserved banter? It wasn't too long ago that High Limits posted on, social media on how they, when they won Volusia one night, they put High Limit 1, World Outlaws 0. So they want this rivalry. the society has been conditioned for this rivalry, and now you have two groups of fans who are cheering for the. That's what you get in rivalries, right? It's not the 49ers and the Raiders players aren't fighting each other on the field. It's the fans in the stands. So now you got what you wanted, I guess, technically. I guess they got what they wanted. So when you have situations like that, and you have everybody reacting the way they are, I mean, it's kind of what you wanted. You're getting what you wanted.
You look from the last couple weekends, the outlaw races have been badass. The last 2 weeks, not taking anything away from the high limit, but man, like 3 guys can win in. Slide jobs going through. Even a few weeks ago when Kofoid hit the fence, jumped the cushion, hit the fence, taking the lead. Like, that is crazy drama you can't write in a Hollywood movie. That is unbelievable for the fans. Shitty for Kofoid at the moment, but still, the racing has been absolutely wild. So, I guess why it becomes salacious is, hey, I think we can all get behind, hey, I didn't qualify good. I didn't want to wreck my shit. I had no reason to beat up my stuff. I'm not with these guys. But it gets everybody speculating. I think the juicy part was he told, get out of there, or from anybody on the flow / high limit side, tell him, hey, you shouldn't be there. What are you doing? So, I don't know. But the big thing for me, Cody Jacobs, he laid it all down on your show on afterwards. You called Cody. He called you back. And you guys jaw-jacked for a good hour. Or probably an hour and a half, wasn't it? Something like that. It was a long time you had him on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And but he said some wild stuff too, He was dropping bombs and saying he felt that the World of Outlaw grind brings up a whole other type of racer, and I'm paraphrasing what Cody said.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically said he didn't think a lot of those guys could hang the grind. Meaning he actually called out Rico and said Rico's a great driver, but he didn't know if they could make that run to keep it up. What are your thoughts on that? Is the Outlaws a superior deal still?
Well, and I think I was even, the big notion right now is like Outlaws have the best top 3, and they're referencing Kofoid, Macedo, and Gravel, and then High Limit has the best 3 through 10. And maybe on paper that may sound correct, but you look at the entire High Limit roster, and then you look at the entire, or we'll just say top 10 from both sides. There's to run for the Outlaw title, you have to have an extreme amount of consistency. And like even Rico, I think we were talking there, he had to have a few provisionals last year on the West Coast swing because he couldn't make the field on his own driving ability. And even though Tanner Thorson is doing what he does, I mean, has he shown that, national 90 race or 60, 70 race consistency? And I think when you write off guys like Logan Schuchart and Donnie Schatz and Sheldon, these other guys who aren't, Kofoid Larson or Kofoid Gravel Macedo, when you write them off as having consistency, and I think I even threw Baylog in there, those guys, I think, like I just said, Schuchart, Sheldon, and Schatz have shown better consistency on the national racing stage than just as much as Rico. Or, probably, I think I even said it, that Aaron Reitzel is probably the closest that could maybe, rival like a Macedo style performance where he's right there with Gravel and Kofoid. Kofoid and Gravel are just a little better in the consistency mark. But I look at it like a Logan Schuchart, could, when you run top 10 in the Outlaws, if it was a high limit field, you could run top 5. So you got a lot of guys over there who win a lot, but then they crash a lot too. I mean, Aaron Reitzel was just upside down in Arizona. Tanner Thorson hasn't had the best of luck. And then once you get past Thorson, Reitzel, Rico, obviously he has consistency issues, kind of always has, where do you get, where's wins versus consistency clash? And when you look at consistency and winning, there's a lot more of that on the Outlaw side than there is on the High Limit side. And I think that's why Cody was saying, the full tour, 90 race, 88 races, whatever it is of the Outlaw schedule, to be up there in the top 5 every single night. There's guys that have been doing it for years in the Outlaw tour and showing that they can at least halfway do that, within the top 6 or 7. And really on the high limit side, you have a bunch of guys who are inconsistent in saying, I would say inconsistent in saying that. Wrights will probably be in the close if I was to look at their roster with the proven ability to be consistent for an entire year. But even he, had his, medical issues of getting hit by rocks and wrecking at Eldora. I mean, Tyler Courtney, would be another one you maybe throw in there from the high limit, but he's had injury issues too. He's won big events, but once again, proving it year in and year out to show a full season consistency of running up front. I don't think too many guys in high limit have technically proven that. Can they? Probably, but has it been proven? You can't say it has, because it hasn't.
So tell me this. This stuck out to me watching Aaron Reitzel's interview the other night after the race. He finished second and went on a few times. He couldn't get off the topic of being blocked for the win. Is that normal? Like I haven't heard too many sprint car drivers talk about how being blocked cost them a win. I just thought it was savvy racing.
Well, Aaron Reitzel's a pretty interesting character. So for him to say that would be normal. If Aaron Reitzel doesn't win, it's everyone else. I mean, like you said, it was just good racing. But since it ended on the bad side of him, he didn't really want to, say it was him. It's the blocking subject, or whatever. That's just Aaron Reitzel, though. He's a pretty aggressive, really good driver, but aggressive, kind of selfish race car driver. Obviously, like you just said, I mean, savvy racing, but he's in victory lane saying it's blocking. I mean, like it isn't something he would
imagine,
do.
I just can't imagine an outlaw saying that.
Oh no, I don't think
just
so.
Doesn't. But that could be me.
Well, Aaron Reitzel's known as the villain. He plays it well. So
Chaz got into some wild conspiracy shit. You would have loved it, Adam. Like, even, and I'm paraphrasing because it was late at night. Like, Formula One got behind the kart IRL split because Formula One was, or was it NASCAR was behind it? I got it confused.
Kart was pretty big. I mean, yeah, Nigel Mansell left Formula One to go to kart. So I mean.
Yeah, so you're saying deal, Formula One put money into the kart split, and is NASCAR putting money into the sprint car split now?
I mean, there's definitely NASCAR money behind high limit. You can't deny that,
Okay, I don't want to get into too bad because I want people to go to your show. And the other thing I just want to know, are you willing to talk anything about the Tony Stewart talk? So Tony Stewart grabbed you.
I mean, he didn't really get mad at me. He just didn't like that when the Donnie and him split happened, that I pointed towards, other entities that deserve blame. And if you listen to Donnie's shots, those other entities do deserve blame. If you listen to Tony, that entity is innocent. So I mean, it was more so a situation where Tony was sticking up for one of his people, so it's not really a bad thing. I don't think he hates me or anything. I mean, and if people apparently, like he was saying, were going to this individual and blaming her for the entire split, then that definitely was wrong, and apologize for that. But I got caught up in the emotional side, with Donnie shots of the whole situation. I chose Donnie's side, Yeah, I mean, I think I even said it as like choosing daddy or mommy. I used another comparison, but I'm not repeating that one. But
I got one quick follow-up here, Adam, before I throw it over to you. Sorry, Chaz. Hey, how's Donnie's attitude now? When Donnie was where gravel is now, if Donnie didn't win, he was an absolute prick and a fireball to deal with, even on the podium. Do we feel that he's been humbled a la kind of Kyle Busch had been on the NASCAR side, where he's full of piss and vinegar, attitude to everybody, then you suck for a little bit, and you get humbled a little bit. How's Donnie's attitude these days that you're aware of?
I mean, when I dealt with him after he won, he was obviously happy. But I would think, I think what you just said is true, because, Tony was even alluding to that. Why would you listen to Donnie? He gets mad even when he's winning type deal, and he's referencing those years you're referencing, so... I definitely think that going through all that humbled him in some capacity, for sure. Like Kyle Busch, in the same light. Now, obviously, it's a little easier to just get a good race car together and go compete in sprint car racing than it is in NASCAR, where you got all your corporate levels and different teams that control the speed. Um, so Kyle Busch is kind of screwed until he gets back into a high level vehicle. But yeah, I think that that's potentially the case. But Donnie seems like he's really happy. Seems like he's having a good time out there. Obviously, the car's running good, and he has an opportunity. So you would just assume that, yeah, the morals and or the humble appreciation of everything is a little higher than it was when you're on top of the mountain. I think that's what you're saying.
And you know, you look at drivers with a chip on their shoulder that weren't real pleasant to be around. You look at Steve Kinser, Sammy Swindell, Danny Lasowski. There's a long list of drivers who kind of had a chip on their shoulder at a racetrack, depending how things were going. But that was their livelihood.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think a lot all those names you just mentioned. I think all three of them probably dealt with it differently, though. Too, they weren't all the same style, or some were probably more appreciative, less appreciative, harder to deal with. Didn't want to talk with fans. Do want to talk with fans. You know, it's all different people. You know, I mean, some people act different. You know, heck, Sammy Swindell's was known for being one of the hardest guys to even talk to after the race as a fan for a lot of people. And Kinzer was always the good guy, you know, who talked with everyone. So I definitely think everybody's different in times of frustration. But when you have a situation like the Shot Stewart split and all the things that Donnie went through, you would think that you would guesstimate, I guess we could say, that would adjust how he acts going forward in those same moments of success, you know, or failure.
Right on, Chaz. We appreciate you
Guesstimate.
jumping in with us. We're gonna cruise on here. I love that we can reach out to get you on. Keep up the fireworks. Spencer, show that screenshot one last time. Chaz, give them your socials where they can go catch the full episode.
Yeah, you can get it on all the streaming platforms. YouTube is one that's really good. Long Live the Chaz, or the Chaz on YouTube. Facebook, Long Live the Chaz. YouTube or TikTok, Long Live the Chaz as well. And we got the Jeremy Elliott video that we posted yesterday. That one was really good, talking about the Tanner Thorson stuff more so than there with Cody. Cody's interviews are crazy. We're thinking of doing one every week now. Cody off the cuff. That's the new weekly segment I think we might be having here soon. And I don't know if we made the Ginger Kitty shirt. I don't know if we need to make a Garfield one now, but that's, you know, he did coin the phrase, you know.
Right on. All right, Chaz, thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
All right. No problem.
Long live the Chaz. Check out Chaz. He entertaining stuff, and he always definitely draws a crowd. And Cody off the cuff would be badass. I mean, I got to see Cody in the wild at Oshweekend last year, and I think having the ability to have somebody at that level speak their mind, it would be a great deal, Adam. So, super cool.
For sure.
Let's talk about a bit more sprint car action before we jump into some of the pavement stuff here. Kind of dirt heavy tonight, but that's okay. We're very proud to announce the Action Sprint Tour that we revamped this summer for the crate sprints here in Ontario, New York, and down in Eastern Ontario, almost Quebec territory, has a title sponsor. We signed Matco Tools as the title sponsor for the Action Sprint Tour. So it'll be the Action Sprint Tour tuned by Matco Tools. Adam, this is big for us because, as you know, anytime you get a major multinational corporation, this deal came out of the States, to make this work, this is a big get for us anywhere here in this local deal, and to have a company like Matco get behind us is exciting.
Yeah, it adds legitimacy, right? And that's super exciting. Any sale is hard to close. Any deal is challenging to make. The more corporate you get, the more international you get, the more I's there are to dot and T's there are to cross. So congratulations on putting that together.
Yeah, it looks like a, from the outside, it looks like a major, super huge deal. This is an introductory deal, but the fact that they came to board, this was a big deal. We had to get it all through legal. This has been brewing for a month now. We knew we had a deal, but we had to get everything approved. For us, I think this comes down to what we call trade bait. in my daily workings here at the Speedway, meaning the more large companies we can get involved, the more people wake up to what we're doing, and that brings in more opportunities with these large corporations. So we're super proud to have Matco. The other thing we'll be getting back to is, if you recall, during the Knights of the Thunder 360 series, we had the big sword trophy. The drivers will now be competing for the Wrench of Victory. Show the wrench, Spencer. 5-foot metal trophy that's going to be so badass to have these guys holding it above them. I went back and was looking at some of the old pictures of the Knights of Thunder stuff from 5 years ago. It's super cool. So excited to be able to give away a cool trophy, have a new partner on board. I can't thank the partners we've already got on board who came out to do it. Ackland Insurance, Suprenit, GSR, Corpac, damn, I don't want to forget some, Connell's Construction. They've all gotten behind us, and the website's up too. So actionsprinttour.com has been updated with all the new color schemes and everything. So go check it out, and we appreciate everybody getting behind it. We are right now have 2 of the races will be televised on TSN here in Canada, which is our ESPN. For the American viewers, they'll...
Hey, Clint?
Yeah.
Let me interrupt you for just a second, because I don't want to make Spencer
sure.
mad. My computer's telling me to plug in, or it's about to shut off. I am plugged in, so Spencer, just take me off the screen for a minute, because I got to relocate.
No problem. So, this is a good deal for us to have Matco Tools come on board. We'll have 2 of the races, as I was saying, be live on TSN, which is our ESPN here in Canada. Those races will also be live on GeForce and repackaged for Rev. We are working on a deal possibly to get to 2 more events in hopes of getting 4 of the races televised and work that out across the 8 races. So if we can get to 50% of the races on TV, that would be awesome to get that going. Well, Adam revamps his stuff. Let's go through a couple quick questions here. Question for you guys. What big preparation does Oshweekend have to do to meet their expectations? I'm not sure what you mean by that. To meet Oshweekend? To meet World of Outlaw expectations? Or, Owen, I can tell you where we are right now. As far as Oshweekend goes, we're just getting ready we're hanging all the banners, hanging all the signs. This is a crazy month for us to get ready. The track looked really good from one of the videos. Actually, Dirt Dog Media shared a video yesterday, and it looked super good. Jeff, so to have the World of Outlaws, what kind of prep do we do? We don't have to do any prep to meet the World of Outlaws expectations. The beauty of that situation is Doug Leonard, who is now, one of the managers of the World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series, was our guy for 20 years. So Doug can, lead us down that charge. I think the big thing we do is we help them get across the border. We provide government border letters. And actually, it was Gord Bennett threw out a thing yesterday at him, and he was asking if anybody had issues or thoughts on getting cars across the border. And it had me look at our border letter, and actually at the bottom of our border letter. So what we do is we register all our major events where we expect a large American contingent, which would be our nationals, our outlaw shows. We provide them with this letter that we get from the Canadian Border Services Agency. And what happens to that is we list all our dates and events. We send it out to the teams, and when they show up at the border, it explains to them that they have that they're going to this event. The event's registered, so kind of everything jives. All the facts align, and then it also allows them to. And I'm just going to see if I can pull it up here because I was actually looking at it yesterday. At the bottom of it, it actually says, and I'm going to send this to Spencer if I can here. Let's just see if you can get this up. Just send it to the dump account now. Sorry, Adam, I didn't know you were taking off there, so I was trying to filibuster there for a minute. At the bottom
I've been back.
The bottom paragraph says...
I think Spencer just didn't want me back.
It says, please be advised the following goods qualify for temporary importation under the provisions of the memorandum. Racing vehicles, trailers and conveyances for moving racing vehicles, repair parts, repair equipment such as tires, wheels, spare parts, tools, portable shop equipment, mobile accommodations, mobile kitchens and related equipment, safety vehicles, television production trucks and related equipment. So do you have that up, Spencer? Throw it up if you can get it up there. So this is, oh, okay. It didn't come through to Spencer. Anyways, it's a letter we put through. So that's the one big prep we do. We work with the Hoddics. We stage a lot of the teams and bring them all over together. And the other thing we did, we brought them up to speed with the Ontario transportation laws. For example, the big thing, Adam, like, a pit bike, for example, in the States, you don't have to have that strapped down. Well, Ontario Ministry of Transportation will fine you for having an unsecured load, for having your mini bike unsecured in your trailer. So little things like that, but not a lot of prep. And like Rob says, money. Money is the big thing. Oh, Adam, where do we go from here? Let's talk a bit about Sunset Speedway and then the Doug Barnes Mini Tyrrell getting suspended, because that was a hot story on the pavement side of things. So Sunset Speedway, I'm not sure where they submitted the plan, but there's a community meeting. Show the picture, Spencer, of Sunset's plan for the Speedway. So Sunset is closed, as we know. If you look at this, Adam, and follow this, it's mainly the single driveway in. That is pretty much the entire racetrack area we have used. So the bulk of that would be the grandstand area, the pit area. If you look at it, it's almost a layout of how it was all laid out when it was a racetrack. So not a lot of major changes, but these are all hundreds and hundreds of portable storage units. So everybody got fired up. I don't know what happened on Cam's show last night, but man, they had a firestorm going there. Pavement fans were just frustrated. And the feeling was, some people were feeling they were misled because they were hopes that Sunset would have it, but this plan had obviously been in place for a long time based on the release of this package that came out. And, so I'll let you talk, and then I got a few thoughts on where we are with that.
I just don't know what there is to say, Clinton. It's disappointing. It's sad. I still miss Barrie Speedway. I almost said I miss Moseport Speedway, but I never really enjoyed going to Moseport, but saw a lot of good races there. Kawartha Speedway. I mean, the list goes on. And Sunset's on the list, and unfortunately, when it comes to investors and people that own a property that want a return on that investment, running something as a speedway is not usually the way to get the best return.
I think the concern's a bit late here. Everybody's talking about going and storming this meeting to explain the value of the racetrack. Well, that's 2 years too late. And where were all these guys when, we're looking at results, we're on the road, we're not there every week, but man, there were some weeks they had 4 and 6 and 7 cars in each class. Sunset's going to be, that's when the trouble started. That's when the time to jump in and save it was, not now. And going to this meeting, it's kind of futile now, and I think that's the concern, is everybody's going to go down there and tell them what it means to them. Well, we already know that, but it's moved on. The message here is support the ones we still got. Get out there. If you're so pissed off about this, then wherever is closest to you, be that Peterborough, Full Throttle, Grand Bend, Flamborough, Delaware, whatever your home track is, get out there and keep the ones alive. But I think, to me, the Sunset deal's gone. And I really feel this way, Adam, is, when you look at the package that was shared yesterday, it's extensive. That didn't cost $500 to put together. That cost a couple $100,000 to put together, would be my estimate from what you see with all the legal lawyers and the applications and that, which means it's too far down that road to back up for good feelings at this point. And even if the most richest guy in Canadian motorsports that I know, who loves to throw his money around more than anybody, my boss, Glenn Stiers, he wouldn't touch that deal with a 10-foot pole to try and pull it back in. So, unfortunately, I feel it's done and gone, which got me on the phone with Chaz today. We'll talk about that in a minute.
I would feel horrible if Brian and Sandra Todish were in some kind of trouble, right? Support Brian and Sandra. I think they're all right. They made the decision to move on. Hopefully that decision was best for them. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, there's so many things that could be said. I know this situation because we had the same kind of feeling right after Humberstone had its last Pete Costco Memorial. One of the guys at Rankin Construction talked to us before, was my Uncle Jim's best friend growing up. He knows we're in racing. We see him at the races. He called me and said, hey, man, there's a lot of people have this good feeling. Any chance you and Glenn would be interested in giving Humberstone a go? I think I've told this. I said, well, not as a dirt track, but right then, Glenn was just getting all the pavement stuff. I said, if you want to pave it between your road building company, Rankin Construction, and Glenn, who's in construction, you want to pave it. That got me excited. I ran Humberstone's dirt track with the Davidsons, Bobby Davidson and Costco family. Sunday nights are a tough push, but you give me a 1 o'clock start with a 5 o'clock finish on a Sunday afternoon, which you could never do on dirt. Not with that dirt. You got a winner there. With go-karts early on Saturday morning or whatever, Sunday, it could have worked. Point of the story is, they went to Rankin's head office. My contact went in there. I said, we could do this. Called me back a couple hours later and said, we're just too deep in all of the investment of the studies, the layouts, the design, all that to back this out anymore. So when I saw the plan come out at Sunset, I'm like, well, you guys are a little too late for that because the money's already been spent. But let's look at the positive, Adam. Todishes are doing great things now, right? They're running a resort for mental health and recovery and possibly addiction too. I don't know exactly what it is, but they're helping people. They're doing good things in the future. They did a great thing. I think what everybody needs to remember are, I tell our guys right now, we are living the golden years. You and I grew up with our dad telling us how great racing was at Speedway Park for me and Oswego for you and Pinecrest and all these places. Well, I tell our guys now, we have 120 cars last weekend. We are living the golden ages. You're going to talk about this to your kids and grandkids one day. So relish in this a little bit. And I think that's what was missed at Sunset is it had some golden years 8-9 years ago, man, when Lapsviches were out there and Trayton was cutting his teeth. That place was the hottest thing in Ontario at that moment. And not because of Trayton. I'm just that's when all of us dirt guys from the Hamilton area started looking and going, wow, what's this Sunset place? And it's really kicking ass right now. So I think I look at the
golden years for somebody.
Yeah.
And there will always be, yes, there will always be people touting the great times they had wherever. Whether it was Cayuga Speedway, whether it was Speedway Park, whatever it happens to be. Just make sure you're putting some energy into making these years great for somebody instead of just pining on how it used to be. There was a question about 410 sprint cars at Delaware Speedway. I think it'll be great. I think it's a different sound. It's a different type of racing. I think it'll turn people's crank, so to speak, and hopefully they get 16 or more cars. I kind of think that's the number you got to have to put on a show, but yeah, I think that could be awesome.
I'm pissed off about it. Why does Delaware have to run the same night as Osh Weekend? Why do we have to have wing sprint cars at two tracks a couple hours apart? I'm pissed off because I want to be there. And I'm selfish. So,
well, yeah, but thankfully now with streams and broadcasts, you can see both. You just can't support both at the same time.
It's not the same. It's just not the same.
I know.
You got to be there.
I know. I agree.
To see these cars at Delaware would be awesome. And it's kind of like people ask us, why don't we have the Outlaws on the weekend? Sure, we could have a Friday, Saturday, but we need the Brighton people to come. We need the Delaware people to come. So I just wish this worked out to be a Saturday that we were there covering APC because, man, I'd really get my money's worth there watching APC and then these 410 pavement sprints. That'd be awesome.
Yep, I agree.
Wouldn't it?
So let's talk about people who say dumb things and then do dumb things and it costs them in the Cars Tour.
Okay. Are we talking about Mini Tyrell, Doug Barnes?
Yeah, and I was watching some of the coverage throughout the weekend. Everybody they interviewed who was kind of consequential in the race, like going to play a factor, talked about getting jacked up or getting wrecked or like, guys, you haven't had the race yet. Go out there and try to race. And then Doug Barnes gets roughed up a little bit and goes ape shit and goes after Mini Tyrell and causes some damage and gets himself suspended for Nashville Fairgrounds. Well, shit, that's got to be one of those races you circle on the calendar because it's going to be awesome.
Hey, set this up, Adam.
I don't know what you can set up. It's just people racing hard,
Well,
crossover moves.
yeah, Doug Barnes in the
there's
black
Mini
car, Mini
Tyrell.
Tyrell's in the yellow.
Yep, Mini Tyrell got a little horny there, got up in the driver's window of Barnes, and Barnes' car's falling apart, so his chance is pretty much done. So he wastes no time in making sure that Mini Tyrell wasn't going to see success either. Which, on one hand, I say good for him. You took matters into your own hands. On the other hand, I don't think his car was wrecked that bad. Trayton Lapsovich went down 3 laps during the race because of flat right front. He brought out a yellow. They got their laps back and finished strong. If Barnes got a yellow, did that damage look to you to be terminal on that car?
Yeah, it's hard for us to tell though, right from here, especially on a black car. It all kind of blends together. But let's look at it again, not just yet, Spencer. But hang on, let me set it up a little bit. So Mini Tyrell's in the yellow car, Doug Barnes in the black car. There was a lot of chirping today after, and that's what I want people to pay attention to. Are the penalties equal? Because should they have been more equal? Because they definitely weren't. Tyrell goes in the yellow and black car, goes on probation for the rest of the season. Whereas Doug Barnes in the black car is sat down for the next race. And even guys like Corey McAllister, and man, I know Corey chirped one of the other podcasts for bringing him up, but I'm bringing him up. He said, is that right? Tyrell was up in the window. How is that even close? Because, Tyrell was overstepping his deal. He should have been suspended too. But it's just like anything. It's always the third man in. It's always the retaliation in hockey that gets you the penalty, even if the guy's been poking you behind the scenes all the time. So roll it again, Spencer, and I want people to pay attention. They think the penalties are equal.
Just a little bit of a nudge off of turn 4 to try and get the lead back.
Hard racing still, right?
Pass. Nudge, pass.
I'm okay with that for 10 grand. I think that was accidental.
Well, I don't think Tyrell was trying to spin him out there. He was trying to do the same thing, nudge, pass.
Yeah, I would say he wasn't trying to drive it into his window net.
Now this move here is a temper tantrum, which is fine. I'm okay with it. Like, you're on the racetrack, you're one driver versus another driver, and you make the decision to end the other driver's night.
But does it deserve a week off? I don't think it does.
I got to see that again. Spencer, show that again. I want us to look at the damage on Doug Barnes' car. What can you hurt climbing up into the window? Right? So Mini Tyrell.
Left rear.
Right. You can change the left rear tire. I don't see how that could have hurt Doug Barnes' chances with nearly 80 laps to go in the race, if my eyes are working correctly.
Maybe knock the rear end out.
I don't think you're going to knock a rear end out with that contact.
Okay, let's take all the damage out. Keep playing it, Spencer. Let's take all the damage out of it, okay? So, again, I don't think Tyrell's mission was to stick his nose up in the window net. Now, we've seen drivers purposely do that. That was not, I don't think... That's just, he's like you said, nudge, pass is the mission, right? Nudge, pass. What I want to say is take the damage out of it. To me, I don't see where Barnes gets a week off for this. You fine him heavy, you park him for the rest of the race. He didn't come out of the pits and destroy the guy. I don't have a week off here at this. I don't see it.
No, you know what? No, I disagree. If you're trying to set a standard of excellence, they sent cars home that didn't qualify for this race. If you're trying to set a standard of excellence on what short track racing is and what it is not, I think that's absolutely a fair decision. What they were doing the previous 2 laps is what short track racing can be if you allow drivers if you allow drivers a little bit of leeway. The incident where Barnes just routes Tyrell to spin him out in front of the field is reckless, unsportsmanlike, and in my mind, it crosses a line between. And let's watch Danny Creedon's video. Okay, let's go straight into.
No. I don't want to get through that. I'm not done with this yet. So,
Okay, fair
so
enough.
I still don't.
I think it's premeditated. He slowed down, let him go by, sped up, wrecked him.
Yeah, but I mean, we've seen a lot of worse stuff in this situation. To me, I don't think you can say boys have at it, but not have at it that far. When you let them get fired up like that, which is awesome racing that sells tickets, to me, he didn't destroy his car. Okay, he spun him out, he hit the wall, yeah. But he didn't write that car off. We've seen a lot of worse things be done.
No, he didn't, but he
I
clearly made it close.
I think I would have a hard time looking at that. And I don't want to pick on the Cars Tour, but how much of this Southern late model pavement shit do we see? Where they let everything go. It's almost like the NASCAR deal last year. Now you're going to penalize Cameron?
Right. But we don't
You
know
know,
what's
now
been
we're
said
mad?
at meetings. We don't know what the buildup
True.
has been. I'm saying I can understand that penalty. Now they better call it the same way throughout the season if that happens more.
I'll give you that. Now we can switch
There's
to
a
Danny
lot of
Creed's
money on
race
the line.
Sunday.
They had whatever that flow something $10,000 bonus was. That was not Hickory. That was Wake County. Arca was at Hickory, and good for what's her name? Destiny
Yes.
Spurlock. They made a big deal about her being a black woman, going to make a start at Hickory. To me, whatever. Who cares? Then they made a big deal that she finished on the lead lap and came home 7th or 8th. That is a big deal. Like, good for you. Now you've accomplished something. Probably that's what Cletus should have done. That's an achievement.
Yes.
It takes patience. It takes determination. Good for her. Awesome. Now we can pump it up. The fact that she's going to that race, anybody with a checkbook can go to that race.
I'll give you that. Let's switch gears back to the dirt. Sunday night, the Short Track Super Series had a controversial finish when Danny Creedon, Danny Buck, and Dylan Stoyer, I believe, were all together at the finish of this race. Comes down to a great battle, and let's look at it. Do we have it, Spencer?
So we go
Okay.
back to green. Here we come. Ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be green checkered finish.
So it's a green checkered finish, just a one-lap sprint to the finish.
Danny Buck looks to the inside, draws alongside. Now he has to fend
3
off
wide into 1.
as Danny Creedon would head
So Creedon's leading this race in the 16 the whole time, like by a long shot.
Yes.
anniversary season opener. Danny Buck will blow to the
Buck
inside.
throws
Danny
a
Buck
Hail
throws a
Mary.
shot.
Tries to cross him over. Side by side drag race. Here comes Payne. Creedon will win by a car length over Payne, Buck, and Shepard. Oh.
Now, when I first saw it, it looked way dramatic. You're like, oh my goodness, you can't believe it. But when you see it back, I mean, so, Buck was pissed at Creedon and felt he walled him. But if you look at Creedon's car, he did the perfect lap. He didn't go out of his way. He just did what he had to do. Do you agree with that? Show it again.
I would be upset if I was Buck, but at the same time, Buck had to not destroy his car. He drove it down into 3 so damn hard, he had to spend the middle of 3 and 4 gathering it up to even have a clue how to get off of turn 4. Would Creedon have clobbered him if he hadn't have got completely sideways? Here he is. He's good. Holy shit, now I got to turn. So he does. Then he over-throttles and half spins. There's not a lot of room there. There's going to be contact. But I don't know if it would have been as bad. To me, if he parked Buck in the wall and Buck does not finish, I might make a call there. But Buck finished. Still finished in the top 3. So he didn't destroy him.
I think I try and look at, where was the trajectory of the car. So did Creedon do his best to avoid Buck? I don't think so. But did he go out his way to make contact? Or did he turn his wheels at all to make sure Buck didn't win that race? I don't feel he did that. I felt he was driving his own line and coming off 4. Buck hit the fence, bounced off him. You're coming for 6-8 grand? I'm on it too.
Yeah. If Buck, I would be very curious to see how they come off of turn 4 if Buck doesn't lose it. Show it again, Spencer, please. And I want you to just look at the part where Buck regains control and then jumps on the throttle and kicks the car sideways. And look at how little room there is at the exit of turn 4.
Yeah, the other point I got too is this is the 16's race, this whole race here. We didn't see Buck at all till now, till the restart. And now he throws a haymaker out of nowhere, trying to disrupt Creedon's race. And yeah, I want to look at where he hit him too. It's not like they were door to door. Creedon's rear back end hit his left front.
Yeah, I think it was right rear to Nerf bar. Maybe the left front.
Stop it there, Spence.
Yeah, it was right.
Yeah, okay, it's all right.
That was
Don't
right
worry.
rear to Nerf bar.
You know, so yeah, okay. Right rear to Nerf bar, I'll give you that. Yeah.
So had he come off, had there not been contact, would Creedon have left a car width beside him? That's all you got to all you got to do is leave a car width. You can't have all the lanes, but you can have one of them.
Yeah.
But
obviously they were getting into it in the pits. He's got a lane up there. You give him more of a lane right there, but it tightens up. If anything, he gave him just a lane.
Don't have to give him much more. But that,
Kirsten
I mean,
says,
how exciting
Buck threw a
is
Hail
that?
Mary, and Creedon held his line. So
I think Danny Creedon's kind of a polarizing driver. I don't think everybody loves him.
yeah, he had some thoughts back. Let's look at a couple of videos of the week and a picture drop, and we're almost done here for the week. What do you want to do, Spencer? You want to look at videos or pictures? And anything else we dropped in there? Videos. That's why you shouldn't stand near the fence.
Yeah,
That's
that
a
damage
full-size
clause
car,
is
man.
going to be a big check.
Is that the only one we got of that, Spencer? Yeah, and what else you got? Let's see. Oh, okay, stop it here, Spence. So this is when the race director is coming on the one-way radio to the drivers on the red, and he's rolling out the lineup like Dave Hunsinger would or your race director, and you've been in the pack, you're not looking at the scoreboard, and you don't know where you are. So start it again, Spencer, if you can. So this is Tanner Holmes counting out what positions he's in as the lineup's being read over the radio. 2, 3, 4, trying to figure what position he's in. And I know our drivers are doing this. 12, 13.
He's also probably counting how many cars are still in the race.
He's like, okay, I'm lined up 15th. Yeah, it's pretty wild, eh? I just thought that was a funny in-camera video. We don't always get to see the drivers as they work on that. All right, keep them coming, Spence. Great Lakes Super Sprints on ice.
That's so awesome.
So we have the Great Lakes Super Sprints June 26th coming back here to Schweeken. Make sure you check it out. That is pretty freaking cool. And a lot smoother than the surface we gave them the last time they were at Schweeken. So we're expecting better things June 26th for these guys. Boy, if I could only have said it was as slick as the ice they were on, that would have been a great night, but it wasn't. So, all right, that's good, Spencer. Other than burning, my biggest fear is drowning. And I just cannot get out on that ice for fear of drowning. You know? Ice fishing, too, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah,
but
got to put it out of your mind.
I did grow up a city, so that's what I'm attributing it to anyways. All right, show me something new, Spounce. What else? All right, show some pics then. This funny meme came back up in my things. If you don't know what this is, we probably can't be friends. Obviously, you know what that is, right? Top wing for a sprint car.
It's a couple $1,000s, what that is.
Yeah, getting up there now, yeah. That is crazy. What else, Spence? Oh, just people say bring back the open tires. Let's have open tire rules, Adam. Sure, if everybody wants to invest in a trailer that looks like this, what's that? Probably 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 tires there. 30 tires, including the ones on the car.
That's insane.
It's insane, but that is a badass trailer. Like, those were the days.
It's awesome.
Just imagine, you're staying in this hotel as a kid, going out to play by the pool, and 5 or 6 of these badasses pull in to get ready for the weekend.
Yeah.
Don't know where they're going, but we want to go. Show us something new, Spence. You know what this is, right, Adam?
Brett Stratford building a race car.
Yeah, that's Brett's race car, and I saved this picture for our broadcast in 6 weeks from now to show off that this is what Stratford's race car looks like as of last week. He was waiting to buy some steel, finally got his steel. Everybody's going up for car shows, and he's ready to start bending it up. Gotta love Brett, old school. Even that trailer was custom made in his own shop. Just one of the old school badasses. So Stratford coming back, and that's good to see. Keep him coming, Spence. Aaron Reitzel, high limit race at Votto, Adam. What do you notice how to place there in the victory lane picture? How about the shitter? Like, you got a giant racetrack with a massive infield, and you put the porta potty right there where all the TV cameras and every picture that goes up from the event is going to look at, Bills Johns.
Yeah. It's the small details, right?
Oh, man. I just thought that was pretty wild. I'm like, what are they thinking? And it probably didn't think about it until it came up on TV and like, no, that's the worst spot to have that. All right. Show me something new, Spence. What else? Oh, did you read this, Adam? And big thing in the States. Kansas Motorsports Venue Protection Act passed with a 120-0 vote. If you're not familiar with this in the States, many states and regions in the U.S. are putting out Motorsports Venue Protection Acts. What this means is, for many years, people are moving in beside racetracks and they're building new subdivisions and complaining about the noise and the traffic and everything that goes on. And this is huge, Adam, that politicians are getting behind this deal and saying, no, these are historic venues that have been here for years, and too bad that you moved in from the city out here beside this racetrack. We are not closing it down because you don't like the noise. You should have done better. And that's a huge thing for this industry, and good to see the politicians coming up. And the fact that it is, they're all on board. 120-0 is a state I want to live in.
That's crazy.
They're pro motorsports. So that is good. Keep it coming, Spence. We got a few more and a couple more topics to get through. This is interesting, Adam. Sprint car race continues to rival up there. Flow Racing, the Sugar Beet Blackjack Bash, March 12 to 15. 500,000 plus total views. 6 million social media video views. And total live accumulated minutes. That means they're watching for average of 51 plus minutes each, right, Spencer? Isn't that what that means? 51 million minutes streamed. My bad. 51 million plus minutes live streams. Those are some major numbers. So that's really good to see that going. What else, Spencer? Oh, I think it's probably AI bullshit, but I had to save it. Study claims that attending a dirt track race once a week can add 9 years to your life. We're sticking by that. All right, keep going, Spence.
Absolutely.
Another World of Outlaws, Doug Wolfgang crew pulling up to on the racetrack. Look at that rig. Another one with the open tires. And somehow, the
amazing.
algorithm works. You look at one, you get them all. Yeah, little camper in the back there. And, wow, the rigs have come so far. So far. All right, Spence, what next? Are we down to... this is another thing, Adam. So, 600 micro sprints. These are new things that are coming in the sprint car world. Wheel balancers. Action Track USA says the 600 wheel balancers are not legal at Bridgeport or Action Track. The sport's expensive enough. Do we really need this added nonsense? No. I kind of like that. We haven't addressed it yet at Oshweekend. It hasn't come up, but sure it's going to soon. But as of now, they don't say no. So, what else, Spencer? How about this, Adam? Weber Valley.
Buxton Speedway makes Weber Valley.
Yeah, some people are probably pissed off by it. I think we've made it with Weber Valley.
That's right.
Like,
Absolutely.
man, I would kill to have them make a post about us. And
Yep.
hey, now it really makes me wonder: is it Callan behind it? That's too close to our backyard.
I'm sure it is.
He says no. We're giving Greg a lot of credit if it is Greg. Some of those things though, I just don't see coming from Greg.
No, that's very true. But I still can think about it.
But 98% of it could be. We need shirts that say that. Is Greg Weber Valley for the summer? Just start that movement. One other picture we got, obviously not a joke, Adam, but we want to pass on. In the past few weeks since we've been on here, we lost Mark Zuba. Mark was one of our supporters here on the track, on the show, as part of Jibs. Mark did a lot of work with a lot of teams, helped out a lot of drivers over the years. He raced in had to be 5 or 6 different divisions. He had a late model at Humberstone. He had a crate sprint. He had Thunderstocks. He had pavement cars. He had mini stocks. Mark had a lot of stuff. Sad to see Mark go. They had a visual for him this past week, and we'll be doing something for him at the Speedway this summer for sure. Mark has always been a big part of our autograph sessions. He away a lot of scooters, bikes, skateboards to kids. So we appreciate Mark and all he did. And best with the family. They have reached out, and we will be working on something for a program at Oshweekend sometime this summer. I think we only have one other topic to go over, and that might be the Bridgeport deal. Bridgeport rented out their speedway, Adam, to obviously not short track racers, I guess is the best way to put it. And man, did it ever turn to a shit show. They had to shut it down. They had to get a whole bunch of other people in to help them out. Show the screenshot first, Spencer, then we'll show the video. So Bridgeport is apologizing to their community. First and foremost, they say, my wife and I would like to apologize to the community for yesterday's inconveniences. I don't like to make excuses and do not want to sound like an excuse, but I'd like to express to our neighbors once we realized this is not what we expected of silly. We got along with authorities diligently and began to dissolve the event. Pretty wild, though. Looked like it was some kind of tuner car event. Show the video, Spencer, if you can. And that's just, it got out of hand. Everybody drinking, partying, and then the fights broke out.
Yeah.
And this is just, it's a sad deal because it goes to show that, you can rent your speedway out. You think you have car enthusiasts coming in, and it just gets out of hand to the point that, really, you needed all kinds of help, super rowdy, all kinds of fist fights. That's enough, Spence. So, anyways, the point to the matter is it could happen to any of us. I mean, we had Lights Festival. Do you remember we did that about 9 years ago? We had Lantern Fest at the Speedway. Well, they came in, they pre-sold food, they gave us a great plan, they had this whole thing out. Man, they were not prepared. It showed up with 10,000 people, had no way of getting home, they didn't have any way to feed these people. It was a disaster. So from then we pretty much were like, no more renting out the Speedway to outsiders. It just doesn't work out. But yeah, so those are pretty much the hot topics that we've come across in the past little bit. I don't know. How do you want to end it, bud?
That's it. We'll be back next time. Welcome back.
I think Mike Morris just sent me a message. You want to bet they use that rough driving to promote the share of that next race? So he's got a good point. Minnie Tyrell and Doug Barnes. Doug Barnes gets promoted, but are they going to be running that in their flow stuff for the next couple weeks? I bet they are.
Most likely.
I mean, I sure would be. I'm so pissed off that Dykstra's moving up. Because I wanted to start the year with our promos of Dykstra and Stratford going at it, the championship at the Nationals there. Because that was insane.
I still think we'll have plenty of talent. We won't have any problems promoting.
I'm excited.
Crates.
Yeah, crates are going to be wild this year. Absolutely insane. But we appreciate everybody hanging out with us. Let us know who you want to have on the show. We'll keep working on that. Mike, go to bed. You got work to do. Adam, I appreciate it, bud. I love you as a bro. We're going to work this out one way or another. I think we got to keep it alive for the kids. And
Love you long
just
time.
keep pushing at
We're
it.
all good. You're right. We'll have some fun. We'll be doing some promotion. Let's get the hell out of here.
Right on. See you guys. Thanks, Munster. Always appreciate it. He's the kid caught up in the middle, but he's sticking with us too. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Peace out.